You know, in a lot of projects, we have what we call outputs, all right? Outputs meaning you do a project and you have a report. You reach it up and you put it on a shelf and it remains there until it does get valued. Now what we want to see with this project is outcomes. We want to see what can we do within this area to protect and stabilize the river bank from collapse and to reduce the amount of sediments that comes down into the dam, so we can have very important, very good quality of water for human consumption. That is important.
River has many important ranging from our domestic use to our survival use also. Because we use the river to bathe, to fish, to drink, you know, for recreational activities, and hence we must keep it clean and protect it.
I think it's a very good idea of cleaning up this place, and I mean having the river clean is a natural source here. I have people that depend on the water, so most likely if we have it clean all the time, then it will be very profitable to people who don't really have the water access, so they will come to the river, right?
We cannot overestimate the need for water and the importance of water in the life of a human being. Anything we could think about in terms of life must be in relation to water.
So we must conserve and protect it because our health is very important. Water is the most important resource in any country because no social and economic activity could ever happen in the absence of water. We cannot survive without water. So sense the importance.
Right? So in that case, we want to do the best job that we can, you know what I mean? With all our strength and from deep within our heart, you know what I mean? Sincerely. We're not just doing this because of any money or not, no.
I want to also say that community members, when we did a baseline survey as part of the preparation for the project, community members expressed their interest and their appreciation for a project like that because they were able to identify their role and the relationship they have with the river. So we have people who use the river and who have a relationship with it.
We are also wanting to look at the agricultural activities happening along the banks of the river.
You guys just see, when you see them and you plant coconut tree, you just bear at an early age. Bear from shot. So that I tried, that is the second time I tried it now. You see what is the result. If you're going to work, you will work.
Because in very small communities like this, people farm right along the banks of the river. And agrochemicals and fertilizers and pollutants can get into the water system. But there are various different practices that we can apply and adopt to protect from this or to prevent from this getting into the water system. So one of the outcomes of this project is to stabilize river banks and to do best practices to minimize the amount of agrochemicals, sedimentation getting into the water, affecting the biodiversity in the water, meaning the fishes, the crayfish, the mollusks and all those type of things.
The young crayfishes and stuff, they need clean water, you know what I mean, in order to populate in a proper manner, you know what I mean? They need that. They need that. It's vital for them.
Those are outcomes. We want to identify areas as well along the banks where garbage has been thrown along the river so that we can mitigate against those improper practices, those bad practices. Alright? We want to ensure that proper signage has been put along the area so that people can understand the importance of conserving and protecting our water resources in the area. So it is going to have at least an educational component, an awareness component, so that people can be sensitized of the importance of protecting the water resources that we got within the community. That is important.
We will also be getting people through Nawasa trade so that they can measure the river flow and the water quality. And that is for us a very important thing.
In any project, I believe the involvement of people and stakeholders are very important. Now when we say stakeholders, I mean that the people who've got an important role to play in the project or within the community. Now I believe the farmers who farm along the banks of the river, they are critical. They have got an important role to play. We also find that the people in the water resources, the Nawasa people, are very important because they are the ones who abstract the water and send it off, distribute it for human consumption in the houses, in the schools, in the police station, you know what I mean, in the stadium and all those places. So it's critical for those stakeholders to be here as well. The fishermen, the guys who fish crayfish in the river, it is critical because whatever happens on the land, it ends up in the water course and it will affect the crayfishes in the river, and they're fishing for a livelihood. So it's important as a stakeholder to be playing part in this project as well. People as the police should be here to win it, because the police are implementing the law, and putting chemicals in the water is a serious problem, like gramazone and dioxin and those type of things. It's important. It affects the crayfish in the water. It affects the human health in terms of the crayfish and then drinking water. And it's not only that, whatever happens upland in the mountains, it finds its way down to the sea. So it has got a connecting effect with the land and the marine area. So it's going to affect the coastal area, the coral reef, the seagrass beds, and all the type of the fishes down there. So it's important for all this broad level of stakeholders to be taking part in this project. Now me, in my job, I am a technical person. I study technical things and I implement technical forestry practices all over Grenada as it relates to water resources, as it relates to wetland, as it relates to land and marine area management. So I have got to dispense my knowledge within my community to ensure that we have got a resource that is very much intact and protect the health and well-being of my people in my community. In a general sense, I think that's what it is all about. Now, if we do not have sufficient amount of material for protection and stabilization of the river bank, it is going to be a problem because we are not going to address the issue of runoff. It is not going to address the issue of soil erosion. It is not going to address the issue of sedimentation into the dam. It is not going to improve the quality of the drinking water within the area. So that also will be a problem, right? And constraint can be funding. If we do not have enough funding to implement the different activities that we intend to implement, then that is a constraint. It is not going to happen. But the benefits will be improved quality of drinking water, more fishes in the river, improved livelihoods for the people who depend on water on the river for their livelihoods. And as I mentioned, the connectivity between the upland and the marine area is critical because we have got tourism in Grenada. Tourists come, they come in glass bottom boats to look at reef, to look at fishes and all those kind of things. It starts from the mountain top here. And if the project is not successful, it's going to impact negatively on these areas. The coral reef, the seagrass beds, the beaches, and all those things down there. So hence the importance of having the people's involvement, having sufficient amount of funding, and having people playing their relative roles in the project so that we can mitigate against negative and have a successful project. This is not a very massive project because if it was a massive project, we would have been addressing the project from high up in the mountain and stabilizing the banks and the slopes where landslide is taking place and addressing the issues with the farmers from a higher region. Awareness and having our resources intact is two critical outcomes of the project. So if people know, they can talk to people and say, yo, it is wrong to rear pigs along the banks of the river. It is wrong to cut down the trees at the banks of the river because the banks will not be stabilized. The banks will cut off and more sedimentation into the dam. And it has a spill-off effect, and I say, it goes down to the sea. You know, in Grenada, there is a lot of time we are not seeing what we call teetery before, as what we see before. A lot of what happened in upland contributes towards that, in terms of agrochemicals in the water, in terms of sedimentation, because they don't like dirty water for their survival. They like clean water. So this project, in a general sense, should address all those issues.
We've measured the chlorine fluid in the reservoir as the main title. That is what we like here. So we use materials like measuring tape, we use a rod, stopwatch, and a floater. Alright, so the basic procedures we do, we start by measuring the width of one section first, one at a time. So we have a section A, section B, and a section C. So we measure the width of section A, we measure the depth, we go in the water, measure the depth with the rod of section A, and then we use the floater and take from the end point to section A to the next point in section A. And we time that, and then we have the whole result for the flow rate in one section. And next we do the same thing in the two sections, which is B and C. Alright, so after that now we're using our formula R equal to W, where W is the average width of the study area, D multiplying each and everything, WDAV, right? R equal WDAV. So W is the width of the area, D is the depth, A we're using A as a constant, which is 0.9, and V the average velocity. So when I reach home, I'll calculate everything and get it for you.
I saw the youth man this morning doing a water flow assessment here. That is critical. We need to know what is this flow of the water in the river. Because in this era of climate change right now, if the water is getting lower and we don't have sufficient data to back up this area, it is flowing at 2 meters per second. And what can we say in terms of Grenada climate change? So we need to have more of this kind of research being done on a regular basis. And if the project is going to continue doing those type of work, it is also a very important output. And I see it's got people within there, other stakeholders, they are learning. So that is an outcome of the project, it's critical. Now, if you are applying best management practices, there cannot be any negative output out of it. It's when you are applying negative or improper or poor management practices, then you can have a negative output. But everything that is good in terms of management, in terms of best practices. Because if you are filtering your water that you get from the river to drink, isn't it good? Hey, but if you are not filtering and drinking the turbid or the brown or the dirty water, is that good? Right, so you're doing the good practices, so the outcomes will be positive in a general sense. If the people don't participate, it's going to be negative. And if we have the wrong people doing the works, the best practices, it is going to be negative as well. So you must have the right people on board to get the positive outcome from this project.
You find more people coming out and cooking and stuff like that. Then you have oil long on the fire, you have what brown long on the fire. Then another part of the river you find they have a little what should I say? Like a Tanya log and the fire, you understand? And even the police officers and them, they help too, you understand? And they will say a little fat. Peace and love, unity, unity. Right? So the river meant a lot for us. So I would really like them to really help us in that area. You know, to make the river once what it was. I mean, it won't be 100%, but at least when we continue, we plant the seed for tomorrow, our children's children will enjoy it, and they too will want to do the same thing that we're trying to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, members of the media, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you.
This project came out of our, not just my, but our personal belief at GRENCODA and understanding that water is life. That was the first thing. We are very, very clear, we remain very clear that water is life.
We painted 9 bins in a matter of 2 days during Easter break. We had 40 students show up for that event, and we really appreciate the kids coming out during their Easter holiday to do that. The kids learned about painting and different creative skills that they normally don't get to use.
And now they're at the end of the full-blown project. And I'd like you to give them a round of applause because they did a very good job. And we're looking forward to receiving more proposals from them, because if all the groups implement and are effective as GRENCODA, then Grenada is in a good position to access a lot more grant funding.